guys, welcome back to another video. I'm going to stick with the February theme of romance, and if you know me, I'm not a huge romance lover when it comes to books, and that's just because like a lot of romance books let me down. I want something more realistic, or like not just so cheesy, corny, like this does not happen, this is not real. Like I want something more like deep and it hurts me, or just even fun, but like keep the cheese out of it, please. Like I can't, no cheese. I can't with the corniness. So these are romance books that I did love, or books with romantic elements that I loved. So keep that in mind before continuing. So let's get right into it. I used to not like Emily Henry because I started out with Beach Read, which is a hot take, and I didn't like it. But after reading Happy Place, like she's literally one of my go-to auto-buy authors. I loved Happy Place so much. In this book, it's like the couple breaks up and they have to go to their friend's cabin in Maine like they do every year, but like they're such a solid couple, Harriet and Wynne, and they have to like fake it because they're just not ready to tell their friends. They're not ready to crush their friends, and so they fake still being together, and it's a challenge for them, obviously. And I literally am obsessed with every character in this book. I want friends like this. I want to go to a cabin in Maine with my friends like this. And will I be naming my firstborn son Wynne? Probably. Like, I love them so much. Okay, carrying right into the next Emily Henry book, because this one came out right after, and I'm like, okay, gotta try it. And I loved it. Didn't love it as much as Happy Place, but I still loved it. I would eat it up. I'm so excited for her next book, and I want an arc so bad. I'm manifesting it. So basically in this book, Daphne and Peter are, I think, engaged, whatever. They're together. He ends their engagement for that girl where it's like you always kind of think there's something going on and he always denies it. He ends their engagement for this girl, Petra, I don't know, I don't care. Anyways, so Petra then also dumps her boyfriend at the time, Miles, and however this works out, I think Miles is dropping something off for Petra, or something is going on. He ends up moving in with Daphne. Is it Daphne? Yeah. He ends up moving in with Daphne because obviously she needs a roommate now that Peter just dumped her for his childhood best friend. Ew. And Miles moves in, and they decide to fake a relationship, and they get into this entanglement of this lie that they cannot keep spiraling. So I love them. At first I didn't love Miles because he's not like the type of man like I would fall for in a romance, but ever since I can't stop thinking about him. I'm like, I do love that rudgy mountainy man look, and I kind of miss him. So I really did like this book. I love them. Yeah, so do they fall for each other? I don't know. I guess you got to read to find out. Okay, I just finished this book a couple days ago, and I'm obsessed with it. I think it might be right now it's my favorite book I've read this year, and I don't know, it's a high chance that it might be my favorite book of the year. I always have such a good start to the year when reading books, and then it kind of dwindles down. But I love this book. So it's a weird, everyone I've been telling to read it, I'm like, but it's weird. Okay, you have to understand it is weird. It's Annie Bot, and this is like a sci-fi romance, I guess. But it is about a robot named Annie, and her owner, I forget his name, but they're in a relationship because she's called a cuddle bunny. And so in this alternate in this universe, in this sci-fi universe, in this novel, it's pretty much what our world is probably gonna look like one day. But basically you can have a robot, you can have a nanny bot, you can have one that is just a housekeeping bot. They're called Stellas, these robots, but they have different jobs. But he got a cuddle bunny, and he's basically in this relationship with a cuddle bunny, and as she becomes more advanced, she kind of realizes that she has feelings and wants and needs, and it's just incredible. Okay, this one is one of those ones, I read it so long ago, back in 2021. It was all the hype on TikTok, and if I read it again, would I love it? I don't know. But at the time I really did love it. I think I gave it 4 stars. This is Archer's voice. So basically Bree goes to this small town. She is looking to heal her inner self, and she meets Archer. So basically Archer is deaf, and he cannot hear, or is he deaf? Oh, see, it's been so long. He's a silent man, so maybe he can hear but cannot speak. I can't remember. But anyways, it's a very heartwarming, tragic story. I think I cried at the end. So I really did enjoy it. It is spicy still, even though it's a very sad concept. Okay, this next one's a thriller. It is not out yet. I think it comes out in May or June, but definitely run to grab it if you love like a toxic thriller, romance, whatever. It's a thriller. It's Lisa Jewell's Don't Let Him In. My first 5-star of the year. I really loved it. So Ash and her mother live together because Ash is like 25 years old, 26 years old, kind of like me, where she's like struggling through life because we don't get paid enough in this economy. Anyways, it's been a year since her father's death, and all of a sudden this guy named Nick Radcliffe reaches out to her mother with some story about how he knew her Ash's father, Nina is her name, the mother, her husband, and they get to emailing and it just spirals into a romance. And then on the other POV is another woman, Martha, who lives in a small town as a florist, and her husband has been becoming distant from her, and he goes on trips, doesn't answer her, and she's like, what is going on? How are these two women's lives interconnected, and what are these men hiding? It was so good. So it's like a romance, but like it's a thriller. It was so good. Eyes on Me. So there's this romance store called Slow Burn Books in Calgary where I live, and I always go in and I'm like, when I explain my taste, like they're like, oh yeah, they point me in the right direction. I'm like, don't give me like the cutesy little icebreaker, like I'm not gonna like it. I just know it, and like all the power to you guys who do. It's not going to be for me. So they will point me in the direction of the dark romances or the really, really spicy romance. This is a spicy romance, and I plan to read the whole series. So this is Eyes on Me, and it's part of the Salacious Players Club. I could totally be butchering that name. It's okay. But basically Garrett, he is the part owner of this club, and this is book 2 in the series. And like, I don't think it matters what book you read because they recommended me to read this one, but I'll still read number 1 because it kind of like refers to things that happened in book 1, but it's not necessary to read them in order. He's a voyageur is what he calls himself. He likes to watch the action, not be a part of it. So his players club is like put the pieces together, a specific type of club. He finds himself on this cam girl app where he then sees his stepsister, and he sees her doing some things. So very spicy, very raunchy, very, be prepared, like it's giving Credence in a way. Be prepared for that. Okay, next is Hello Beautiful. I would say this is more like historical fiction, lit fic. Anyways, I love this book so freaking much. It was slower for me, but oh, I loved it. I had no idea I was gonna love it this much. I thought it was gonna be like just slow, whatever. I was gonna be like, thank God it's over, but no, I loved it so much. So this is the story of 4 sisters over the course of many years who struggle with their bond and some things that threaten to tear their relationship apart. So we have Julia, Sylvie, I have to look at this because I don't remember, Cecilia, and Emmeline. But then things around them start to fall apart, and Willem Waters is the boy in the story that kind of comes between the relationship between these sisters, and it was so good, you guys. Pick it up. I have a lot of Taylor Jenkins Reid on this list. So the first one I have on the list is Evidence of the Affair. So the main character, Carrie, she emails or writes a letter, I can't remember, I think they're writing letters, to David, who is a stranger to her, but she finds out her husband is cheating on her with David's wife. How she got this information, I can't remember, but they start emailing each other to kind of like trauma bond with each other about being cheated on and their partners having affairs with their partners. Anyways, as the letters go on, they start to get more intimate. This is a very short book, like 90 something pages, so if you need something just quick and fun and romance and kind of sad, that's the one for you. Oh my gosh, I forgot to hold this up for Good Material, or Hello Beautiful. Ugh. And Archer's Voice. Damn, I'm just so excited. Okay, Good Material. This is more like a breakup, but like that has to do with romance, so I'm gonna say it has romantic elements in it, but it's a breakup book, but this still fits for the theme, right? So basically Andy finds himself single, living in his best friend's spare room, as he has recently broken up with his girlfriend Jen, or she broke up with him. So he's processing his recent heartbreak, and it just kind of leads him on a whole spiral of living situations and trying to sort his feelings and realizing that men don't talk about their feelings. And he's picking up the pieces of his life after being 34 35, 30 something and going through a breakup. Okay, My Husband is one of my favorite books of all time. It is about a toxic relationship, I guess, kind of. It is about a French woman who is passionately, desperately, and obsessively in love with her husband, like to the point where she can name his entire routine. But is that enough? Because she's always worried about him leaving her, like all the time. She knows all of his behaviors. If he makes a mistake like that makes her upset, she will punish him and he will have no idea that she will hide his keys and he'll be looking for hours. It is so funny. It is the messy woman trope. Like, she's so jealous, she's so freaking crazy. However, one day she falters a little bit and may have taken everything too far. It is okay. Another Taylor Jenkins read, Maybe in Another Life. It's about a girl, has no idea what she wants to do with her life, goes back to her hometown and takes up residence in her best friend Gabby's guest room. They go to the bar one night and Gabby asks Hannah if she's ready to go, and she has to make a choice because this book follows two alternate paths. So either she stays and meets up with her high school boyfriend Ethan, or leaves with Gabby. Does she stay with Ethan or does she go with Gabby? It shows us two different paths of how her life ends up, and it's two parallel universes. And some people don't like this trope, but I really liked it. So it raises some questions about fate and true love. Credence! Okay, people are gonna be mad, but I love Credence and I'm putting it under a romance category. Basically, a girl loses her parents. She goes to her only living relative's place, that is her step uncle, and who has two stepsons, so her step cousins, and it leads to a toxic, wild love, don't even want to say love triangle, like a love square with all of them. And it's like, but I like weird books, so sorry. Next is The Things We Leave Unfinished by Rebecca Yarros. I cannot believe this is the same woman who wrote Fourth Wing. Like, I can't believe this because I love this book and I'm not a fantasy girl. Like, I can't even believe this is the same author. Basically, there is a present and a past. So the present is Georgia Stanton. Her grandmother recently died. She goes back to her late great-grandmother's estate, and her great-grandmother was a writer, and she finds herself face to face with a writer, Noah, and he has been hired to finish her grandmother's book, and she has to decide if she's going to let him do that or not. We go back in the past with the great-grandmother and her life, and basically she meets the love of her life during the war, and it's so beautiful. I loved it so much. I love the past POV, like the historical POV, way better than the present, but I really love this book so much. So he has to find a fitting ending for the story, but Georgia just doesn't know if she like wants to trust him with this book because she kind of thinks he's like an asshole. So next is Acts of Desperation. This is a toxic romance breakup book. So basically, our unnamed author falls into this spiral romance with this very toxic man, and not long after he ends it, and she is just again spiraling through this breakup. I don't even know if it was a real relationship. It might have, but we've all been there, like, right? Like crying over someone we didn't even date, and it has the shortest chapters ever. It's so good. Again, if you like a messed up woman like I do, a messy woman like I do, because I am one. Next is Writers and Lovers. This woman is wrecked by a recent love affair and her mother's death. Basically, this is kind of like, if you're like me, 26, turning 27, this is kind of where we're all at in life. She's now single, grieving all these things. And she's also receiving wedding invitations and dealing with friends like who don't want to go out, and they're getting married. Everyone's kind of at different points in their life. It was a really good book. Okay, Emma marries her high school sweetheart, and his name is Jesse, and after 1 year of being married, he is in a helicopter and it goes missing. And so she moves back to her hometown to move with her mother because she's obviously distraught. She runs into Sam, a high school friend of hers, and they fall for each other, and she finally feels like she's picking back the pieces of her life and getting a second chance at love. That is until Jesse is found, and he's coming back, and he has been waiting to be reunited with her. What's she gonna do? This book. I think this was my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid book out of the ones I've mentioned. Forgetting to hold up the books! Firefly Lane is the final romance book, but like this again would be more like fic, contemporary, historical, like there's a bunch, but like romance is in there, but it's not the main part because it is basically about a friendship between Kate and Tully, and they become best friends when they are just little girls. They go through life. Tully pretty much becomes like famous and rich, and Kate settles down and has kids and gets married. However, and then something happens between them. They don't talk for years and years, and something tragic happens to Kate, bringing them back together and exploring that friendship dynamic. But it is a story of love in friendship too, not just like the romantic relationship that involves like Kate and her husband, but it is so beautiful, you guys. Just talking about this book makes me want to reread it. Those are some of my fave romantic books that have elements of romance. I'm interested to hear if you guys have read any, or if you have any recs for me, because I feel like that kind of gives a feel for my taste. But yeah, it is also Black History Month. I also want to put it out there. Just a reminder to explore different genres, different authors, and find authors of color and add them to your TBR. Okay, I hope everyone has a wonderful month. I hope February doesn't feel a million years long like January did, and I can't wait to hear what everyone reads for their little romance era or even for Black History Month. Okay, I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!